Yo, what's up, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man and homie, G Money Stacks, aka The Gregonator. YouTuber, creator, host with the most, misunderstood lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, and Queens, New York native who is also a New York Mets fan from the neck of the woods of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And yes, you are now rocking, tuning in, listening, streaming, and watching the 351st episode of Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast, the comedy space for wild, crazy, fun topics and entertainment news, music news, including hip hop, and segments included. And yes, um, and yes, I hope everybody's week is going well, and of course everybody's having better luck with trying to get another job. I'm probably not having the best luck right now, but I'm doing the best I can, man. Um anyway, man, live and direct from StreamYard and YouTube, along along with along with hitting the like button, leaving a comment on the topics in each episode, and of course enable alerts for new episodes and going live via live stream and for more live video podcast episodes. And yes, be sure to listen, stream, share, watch the episodes. You can add the podcast to your playlist and along with stream platforms wherever you get your podcast. I will recap that on where you can listen at the end of the show. So, um, one second. Without further ado, we're going to get into a little mental health check-in. And today's topic is going to, and today's topic, you have to stick around for this. Yes, so today's mental health topic is going to be, um, so today's topic is going to, mental health topic is going to be about yoga. Here we go. All right, so let's see. So the objective of this study is to assess the findings of selected articles regarding the therapeutic effects of yoga and to provide a comprehensive review of the benefits of regular yoga practice. As participation rates in mind body fitness programs such as yoga continue to increase, it is important for healthcare professionals to be informed about the nature of yoga and the evidence of its many therapeutic effects. Thus, this manuscript provides information regarding the therapeutic effects of yoga as it has been studied in various populations concerning a multitude of different ailments and conditions. Therapeutic, therapeutic yoga is defined as the application of yoga postures and practice to the amount to the treatment of health conditions and involves instruction in yogic practices and teachings to prevent, reduce, or alleviate structural physiological, emotional, and spiritual pain, suffering, or limitations. Results from this study show that yogic practices enhance muscular strength and body flexibility, promote and improve respiratory and cardiovascular function, promote recovery from and treatment of addiction, reduce stress, anxiety, depression, and chronic pain, improve sleep patterns, and enhance overall well being and quality of life. A 3,000-year-old tradition, yoga is now regarded in the Western world as a holistic approach to health and is classified by the National Institutes of Health as a form of complementary and alternative medicine. The word yoga comes from a Sanskrit root, um, yuj, which means union or yoke, to join and to direct and concentrate one's attention. Regular practice of yoga promotes strength, endurance, flexibility, and facilitates characteristics and friendliness, compassion, and great self control while cultivating a sense of calmness and well being. Sustained practice also leads to important outcomes such as changes in life, perspective, self awareness, and an improved sense of energy to live life fully and with genuine enjoyment. The practice of yoga produces a physiological state opposite to that of the flight or fight stress response, and with that interruption, in the stress response. A sense of balance and union between the mind and body can be achieved. What is yoga, you ask? Yoga is a form of mind body fitness that involves a combination of muscular activity and an internally directed mindful focus on awareness of the self, the breath, and energy. Four basic principles underlie the teachings and practices of yoga's healing system. The first principle is the human body is a holistic entity comprised of various interrelated dimensions inseparable from one another, and the health or illness of any one dimension affects the other dimensions. The second principle is individuals and their needs are unique and therefore must be approached in a way that acknowledges this individuality, and their practice must be tailored accordingly. The third principle is yoga is self-empowering. The student is his or her own healer. Yoga engages the student in the healing process by playing an active role in their journey toward health. The healing comes from within instead of from an outside source, and a greater sense of autonomy is achieved. The fourth principle is that the quality and state of an individual's mind is crucial to healing. When the individual has a positive mind state, healing happens more quickly. Whereas if the mind state is negative, healing may be prolonged. Yoga philosophy and practice were first described by um, Patanjali in the classic text, Yoga Sutras, which is widely acknowledged as the author authoritative text on yoga. Today, many people identify yoga only with asana, the physical practice of yoga, but asana is just one of the many tools used for healing and healing the individual. Only three of the 196 sutras mention asana, and the remainder of the text discusses the other components of yoga, including conscious breathing, meditation, lifestyle, and diet changes, visualization, and the use of sound, among many others. In Yoga Sutras, um, Patanjali outlines, in an eightfold path to awareness and enlightenment called um, Ashtanga, which literally means eight limbs. Hmm. The eight limbs are comprised of ethical principles for living a meaningful and purposeful life, serving as a prescription for moral and ethical conduct and self discipline. They direct attention towards one's health while acknowledging the spiritual aspects of one's nature. Any of the eight limbs may be used separately, but within yoga philosophy and physical postures and breathing exercises prepare the mind and body for meditation and spiritual development. Based on Patanjali's eight limbs, many different yogic um, disciplines have been developed. Each has its own technique for preventing and treating disease. In the Western world, the most common aspects of yoga practice are the physical postures and breathing practices of, hatha yoga and meditation. Hatha yoga enhances the capacity of the physical body through the use of a series of body postures, movements, asanas, and breathing techniques. The breathing techniques of hatha yoga focus on conscious prolongation and inhalation, breathe retention, and exhalation. It is through the unification of the physical body, breath, and concentration while performing the postures and movements that blockages in the energy channels of the body are cleared and the body energy system becomes more balanced. Although numerous styles of hatha yoga exist, the majority of studies included in the manuscript utilize an Iyengar style of yoga. The Iyengar method of Hatha yoga is based on the teachings of the yoga master BKS Iyengar. Iyengar yoga places an emphasis on standing poses to develop strength, stability, stamina, concentration, and body alignment. Props are utilized to facilitate learning and to adjust poses, and instruction is given on how to use yoga to ease various ailments and stressors. Yoga is recognized as a form of mind body medicine that integrates an individual's physical, mental, and spiritual components to improve aspects of health, particularly stress related illnesses. Evidence shows that stress contributes to the etio- etiology, of heart disease, cancer, and stroke, as well as other chronic conditions and diseases. Due to the fact that stress is implicated in numerous diseases, it is a priority to include a focus on stress management and reduction of negative emotional states in order to reduce the burden of disease. Viewed as a holistic stress management technique, yoga is a form of CAM that produces a physiological sequence of events in the body, reducing the stress response. The scientific study of yoga has increased substantially in recent years, and many clinical trials have been designed to assess its uh, therapeutic effects and benefits. As participation rates in mind body fitness programs such as yoga continue to increase, it is important for healthcare professionals to be informed about the nature of yoga and the evidence of its many therapeutic effects. Thus, this review of the literature is timely and important and provides information regarding the therapeutic effects of yoga in various populations concerning a multitude of different ailments and conditions. Therapeutic yoga is defined as the application of yoga postures and practice to the treatment of health conditions. Yoga therapy involves instruction in yogic practices and teachings to prevent, reduce, or alleviate structural, physiological, emotional, and spiritual pain, suffering, or limitations. Yogic practices enhance muscular strength and body flexibility, promote and improve respiratory and cardiovascular function, promote recovery from and treatment of addiction, reduce stress, anxiety, depression, and chronic pain, improve sleep patterns, and enhance overall well being and quality of life. Here are some methods. In order to locate research studies and interventions that examine the therapeutic effects of yoga, databases were searched through Google Scholar via a university's web browser. Initially, the following keywords were entered into the database via the advanced search option yoga and therapeutic effects. This search was conducted to obtain general information regarding yoga's therapeutic effects in the existing literature. Subsequently, a second search was conducted using the following keywords or exact phrases: hatha yoga, therapeutic effects of yoga, stress, anxiety, depression, pain, and chronic disease. The following criteria were used for including studies in this review. The article had to be peer reviewed, published between the years 1990 and 2009. The intervention had to incorporate some form of yoga and or meditation, and four effects of yoga on some outcome were measured. In order to select the articles included in this manuscript, several steps were taken. First, the title was read. If the article appeared appropriate to the examination of the therapeutic effects of yoga, it was saved to a folder. The articles describing interventions that utilize yoga as a means to achieve some health outcome were chosen for further review. Each of the articles chosen were then thoroughly read and reviewed. The articles chosen include a broad spectrum of the benefits, application, and therapeutic effects of yoga. Mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, stress, and insomnia are among the most common reasons for individuals to seek treatment with complementary therapies such as yoga. Yoga encourages one to relax, slow the breath, and focus on the present, shifting the balance from the sympathetic nervous system and the flight or fight response to the parasympathetic system and the relaxation response. The latter is calming and restorative. It lowers breathing and heart rate, decreases blood pressure, lowers cortisol levels, and increases blood flow to the intestines and vital organs. One of the main goals of yoga is to achieve tranquility of the mind and create a sense of well being. Of relaxation, improve self confidence, improve efficiency, increase attentiveness, lower irritability, and an optimistic outlook on life. The practice of yoga generates balanced energy, which is vital to the function of the immune system. Yoga leads to an in, inhibition of the posterior or sympathetic area, or of the hypo hypothalamus hypothalamus. This inhibition optimizes the body's sympathetic responses to stressful stimuli and restores autonomic regulatory reflex mechanisms associated with stress. Yogic practices inhibit the areas responsible for fear, aggressiveness, and rage, and stimulate the rewarding pleasure centers in the median forebrain and other areas, leading to a state of bliss and pleasure. This inhibition results in lower anxiety, heart rate, respiratory rate, blood pressure, and cardiac output in um, students practicing yoga and meditation. Consistent yoga improves depression and can lead to significant increases in serotonin levels, coupled with decreases in the levels of um, mo- monoamine oxidase, an enzyme that breaks down neurotransmitters, and cortisol. A range of therapeutic approaches is available for the management of depressive disorders, but many patients turn to complementary therapies due to the adverse effects of medication, lack of response, or simply preference for the complementary approach. A number of studies demonstrate the potential beneficial effects of yoga interventions of depression, stress, and anxiety. Improved flexibility is one of the first and most obvious benefits of yoga. With continued practice comes a gradual loosening of the muscles and connective tissues surrounding the bones and joints. This is thought to be one reason that yoga is associated with reduced aches and pains. Yoga helps to build muscle mass and or maintain muscle strength, which protects from conditions such as arthritis, osteoporosis, and back pain. During a yoga session, the joints are taken through their full range of motion, squeezing and soaking areas of cartilage not often used and bringing fresh nutrients, oxygen, and blood to the area, which helps to prevent conditions like arthritis and chronic pain. Without proper sustenance, neglected areas of cartilage will eventually wear out and expose the underlying bone. Numerous studies have shown that asana meditation or a combination of the two reduce pain in people with arthritis, carpal tunnel syndrome, back pain, and other chronic conditions. Yoga also increases proprioception and improves balance. Yoga increases blood flow and levels of hemoglobin and red blood cells, which allows for more oxygen to reach the body cells, enhancing their function. Yoga also thins the blood, which can decrease the risk of heart attack and stroke, as they are often caused by blood clots. Twisting poses wring out venous blood from internal organs and allow oxygenated blood to flow in when the twist is released. Inverted poses encourage venous blood flow from the legs and pelvis back to the heart and then pump through the lungs where it becomes freshly oxygenated. Many studies show yoga lowers the resting heart rate, increases endurance, and can improve the maximum uptake and utilization of oxygen during exercise. Consistently getting the heart rate into aerobic range lowers the risk of heart attack. While not all yoga is aerobic, even yoga exercises that do not increase heart rate into um, the aerobic range can improve cardiovascular functioning. While yoga is not a cure for cancer, nor a definitive way of preventing it. Yoga increases physical, emotional, and spiritual wellness and brings about a certain peace of which many cancer patients desire. Yoga, breathing exercises, and meditation can reduce stress, promote healing, and enhance quality of life for patients with cancer. The growth of tumors and other cancer indicators are exacerbated by stress. Thus, it is especially important for people with cancer to reduce and manage stress effectively. Several premises exist as rationale for applying yoga based interventions with cancer patients. Research suggests that yoga can produce an invigorating effect on mental and physical energy that improves fitness and reduce fatigue. Additionally, when practicing yoga, a fundamental emphasis is placed on accepting one's moment to moment experiences, creating mindfulness, and not forcing the body past its comfortable limits. Having this healthy sense of acceptance is especially important for individuals dealing with life threatening illness as it decreases the stress one experiences from unpleasant symptomology. Initially, pa- cancer patients likely benefit from the poses themselves, which are designed to exercise each and every muscle, nerve, and gland throughout the body. The postures precisely address the tension, holding, and blockage of energy in any particular joint or organ. As this tension is released, energy flows more readily throughout the body and allows patients to experience a sense of increased well being and strength, as well as a balance of mind, body, and spirit. While stimulation is good, too much taxes the nervous system, and yoga provides relief from excess stimulation and the stresses and hectic nature of modern life. Restorative postures, savasana, um, pranayama, and meditation encourage pratyahara, a turning inward of the senses, which enables downtime for the nervous system. The byproduct often being improved sleep. Pharmacolo- Pharmacological treatment of insomnia is often associated with hazardous side effects such as states of confusion, psychomotor performance deficits, nocturnal falls, dysphoric mood, impaired intellectual functioning, and daytime sleepiness, especially in older adults. Therefore, alternative forms of therapy for improving sleep are becoming utilized more frequently. These alternative therapeutic approaches can be generally classified into three categories: behavioral based educative methods, relaxation techniques, um, and formal psychotherapy. Because of its ability to increase relaxation and induce a balanced mental state, yoga has been studied to evaluate its possible effects on sleep and insomnia. In summary, stress has a negative impact on the immune system, and prolonged exposure increases susceptibility to disease and leads to physical and mental health problems such as anxiety and depression. Practicing yoga and meditation as a means to manage and relieve both acute and chronic stress helps individuals overcome other morbid, mor- morbidities, associated with diseases and leads to increased quality of life as a pharma pharmacological form of treatment. Yoga based interventions are an alternative option for the treatment of mood disorders. Further investigation of yoga as a therapeutic intervention in depressive disorders is needed, and future studies should seek to identify which of the yoga based interventions is most effective and what levels of severity of depression are more likely to respond to this approach. In addition to the effects of yoga on mood disorders and stress reduction, yogic practices are shown to improve cardiorespiratory performance, psychological profile, and plasma melatonin levels, and also significantly reduce systolic blood pressure. Diastolic blood pressure mean um, arterial pressure and orthostatic tolerance. Furthermore, yoga helps to improve the cardiovascular efficiency and homeostatic control of the body and results in improvements in auto, autonomic balance, respiratory performance, and overall well being. Yoga based lifestyle modifications were also shown to aid in regression of coronary lesions as well as to improve myocardial, excuse me, myocardial perfusion in patients with CAD. Inevitably, cardiovascular parameters also as one ages, but these age-related deterioration, hold on a second, folks. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. We're not doing that right now. Um. Anyway, where were we? Yes, deteriorations in cardiovascular functions are slower. Um, Let me close this. Slower in persons who practice yoga regularly, as yoga practitioners had lower heart rate as well as lower systolic and diastolic blood pressure than matched control. Numerous studies show that asana meditation or a combination of the two can reduce pain and disability while improving flexibility and functional mobility in people with a number of conditions causing chronic pain. Additionally, in some cases, use of pain medication was reduced or eliminated completely. Yoga was also shown to improve gait function and reduce age related changes in gait among a group of healthy, non-obese elders. Regarding yoga's effects for cancer patients, results show a decrease in post chemotherapy induced nausea frequency, nausea intensity of anticipatory nausea and anticipatory vomiting. Um, Additionally, yoga subjects reported decreased anxiety, depression, and distressful symptoms, and also showed significantly reduced toxicity scores compared to the controls. Results from another study showed patients experienced significantly lower levels of pain and fatigue, and higher levels of invigoration, acceptance, and relaxation following participation in a yoga intervention. Yoga breathing exercises and meditation can reduce stress, promote healing, increase energy, decrease adverse treatment effects and enhance quality of life for patients with cancer. Yoga's ability to increase relaxation and induce a balanced mental state was studied to evaluate its effect on sleep quality and improving insomnia. Regular practice of yoga resulted in a significant increase in the time to fall asleep, um, an increase in the total number of hours slept, and in the feeling of being rested in the morning. Additionally, yoga had a positive influence on sleep patterns in individuals with lymphoma. Furthermore, participation in yoga classes improves self reported quality of life as well as measures of physical function among an elderly population. According to Buddhist philosophy, the roots of addiction are in the mind, and the practice of mindful meditation encourages addicts to accept the basic im- imperma- im- impermanence of human experience and helps them to develop a detached awareness of thoughts. Yoga and meditation practices exert positive influence on addictive behaviors. Through the practice of yoga, addicts shift from self inflicted harm and disrespect toward their bodies to more respectful, caring, and loving behaviors. Eating disorders are a specific type of addiction, and yoga appears to be beneficial in improving body image disturbances and useful in the recovery from eating disorders. One study found that female yoga practitioners attribute their positive feelings and sense of well-being to yoga practice and report less self objectification, greater satisfaction with um, physical appearance, and fewer disordered eating attitudes compared to non-yoga practitioners. The findings of the aforementioned studies examining the psychological and physical outcomes of yoga proves difficult to summarize and draw concrete conclusions due to variation in the research designs, differences in the duration and frequency of yoga classes, and differences in the specific yoga programs and populations being studied. Nonetheless, results for the included studies demonstrate many of the numerous therapeutic effects, benefits, and profound healing power of yoga. Rapidly emerging in the Western world as a discipline for integrating the mind and body into union and harmony when adopted as a way of life. Yoga improves physical, mental, intellectual, and spiritual health. Yoga offers an effective method of managing and reducing stress, anxiety, and depression. And numerous studies demonstrate the efficacy of yoga on mood related disorders. Currently, treatment for anxiety and depression involves mostly psychological and pharma- pharmacological interventions. However, mind body interventions are becoming increasingly popular as a means to reduce stress in individuals. Yoga, a form of mind body exercise, has become an increasingly widespread therapy used to maintain wellness and alleviate a range of health problems and ailments. Yoga should be considered as a contemporary therapy or alternative method for medical therapy in the treatment of stress, anxiety, depression, and other mood disorders, as it has been shown to create a greater sense of well being, increase feelings of relaxation, improve self confidence and body image, improve efficiency, better interpersonal relationships, increase attentiveness, lower irritability, and encourage an optimistic outlook on life. Researchers are only beginning to understand how disciplines such as yoga promote personal growth, health, and well being. By acknowledging the unity of mind, body, and spirit, mind body fitness programs can assist people in their pursuit of peace, calmness, and greater wholeness and integration in their lives. Healthcare professionals, health educators, and the like need to be aware of the potential of yoga as an important component of a personal wellness plan. While no concrete guidelines exist regarding the frequency of practice, the more you practice, the more you benefit. Yoga is a personalized practice, and as such, frequency and duration are personal questions with individual answers. Practice should happen with wisdom and should be modified to meet individual needs and goals. Individuals should practice as often as possible, especially in the beginning. The length of the induction phase will vary depending on an individual's initial level of fitness and health status. The more difficult yoga is for someone in the beginning, the more their body needs it. While modern medicine has the ability in many cases to heal physical diseases and alleviate psychological disorders, it is argued that a purely medical approach is far less effective in healing the emotional, intellectual, and personality layers of the human entity. The discipline of yoga offers individuals a timeless and holistic model of health and healing, and through it may not result in the complete elimination of physical diseases and or adverse conditions from the body. It offers a holistic path of healing. There exists an indisputable connection between a person's overall physical and mental health and the inner peace and well-being yoga is designed to achieve. Yoga suspends the fluctuations of the mind, and by acting consciously, we live better and suffer less. So this is from a website. This is from a website that I'm using, which is what is it? NC. Hang on a second. Yes, ncbi.nlim.nih.gov. Um, to learn more about this, you can check out the website involving yoga or any other website you choose. Um, will help you with your mental health. All right, so let's get into some transit. Hold on a second. Let's get into some transit stuff. Um, all right, let's get into some transit. We're gonna get into the Queens redesign topic in the New York Mass Transit File segment. So let's get into it right here. um Before I go into this topic in transit news, please forgive me. I'm actually going through a layoff situation from Big Lots that's about to close on Sunday, September the 29th. And obviously I won't be working anytime soon. So I don't know who else is going to take me. So I'm sorry you have to hear from me being, a little down and a little upset and stuff, but I am a human being at the same token. And as a human being that's also going through, mental health related stuff, especially the stressful job hunt that I have to go through, especially with the amount of rejections of certain jobs that I had to go through, it's very difficult to just like, act like nothing happened. because I'm not the typical person who likes to pretend that nothing happened, and it did. So I don't know, man. Whoever wants to take me, I one thing I ask is please do not mislead me. Please do not mislead me and have me wait weeks to be hired. Please. All right. All right. I wanted to get that out the way, man, just to let you know, all you listeners out there, and of course those who are viewing this on YouTube, of what I'm actually going through. It's a day by day process of what I'm going through right now. So just forgive me for what I'm feeling as far as me expressing myself and how I'm feeling. All right. So there. All right. So let's get into Transit Central. All right. So let's see. So here's what's happening. Queens is New York City's largest borough by land area and second largest by population. Like other parts of the city, many residents rely on public transportation to get around. According to data from the NYC Department of City Planning, 37% of Queens households do not have access to a vehicle. This does not reflect the thousands of teens who do not drive and also rely on mass transit to get to school and other activities. To improve bus service in the borough, the MTA has redesigned the entire Queens bus network. The goal of the redesign is to improve bus service by increasing speeds and reconfiguring bus routes to connect riders to more places. This was done through numerous means, such as removing bus stops and making bus routes more direct. The NTA also plans to run more routes through the downtowns of Flushing, Jamaica, and Long Island City, Queens, to reduce the need to transfer for interborough trips. In order to finalize their plan, the NTA is holding a hybrid public hearing on Wednesday at the Helen Marshall um, Culture Center at Queensborough Hall in Kew Gardens, um, which took place already. Which took place already. Um, if yeah, and for those of you who couldn't make it on July 26th, you can actually watch it on the MTA's YouTube channel. So after the hearing, the MTA then plans to implement the plan in phases beginning in mid 2025. This phase implementation is likely due to the size of the borough and the high number of riders who would need to readjust to altered routes. Despite the MTA's best efforts, the new map may not make everyone happy. Here are the themes you should expect to hear about throughout Wednesday's hearing, of course. Longer walks versus faster trips. The MTA plans to remove low ridership stops on most routes in order to increase bus speeds. The idea is that the less buses have to stop, the faster they will run. They even plan to add rush routes that only stop at key transfer points in order to get riders to the subway faster. This can especially be helpful for riders during peak hours when every minute counts in making it to work on time. However, many are not in favor of bus stops being removed due to the longer distance they would have to walk. Indeed, NYU Furman Center data shows that 7% of Queens residents have a disability and 18% are senior citizens. This shows that increased bus stop spacing may place a substantial burden on a significant number of residents who may have difficulty walking further. Northeastern Queens resident Barbara Linden told QNS.com in reference to bus stop spacing, "I think it shows an astounding lack of vision on the part of the MTA to fail to consider this growing demographic in their redesign plan for Queens. The growing demographic refers to increasing senior citizen population in northeastern Queens. During the Bronx bus re during the Bronx network redesign, about 18% of bus stops were removed. Of the stops that were removed, 22 stops or 9% were restored after continued community feedback. Therefore, you should expect discourse from people upset over bus stop removals at the hearing. Um, the MTA will face various advantages and disadvantages when planning bus stop removal in Queens in comparison to the Bronx. Since this redesign attempt has had no pandemic interruptions, the MTA is able to hold a hybrid final hearing, which should make it easier to receive more feedback. Not only that, but the fact that more bus riders have returned to the system now means that more are likely to be aware of the hearing and attend. The hybrid access is especially important when attempting to hear from those without internet access and those who cannot attend in person. The hybrid format will also enable access for those in many communities that have lower rates of internet connectivity and are heavily bus dependent. On the flip side, stop planning can be made harder due to Queens having by far the largest land area of any borough. Therefore, diligence on the part of the MTA will be key to a successful initiative. More direct routes versus loss of certain connections. In addition to bus stop spacing, the MTA plans to make some bus routes straighter and direct. This will allow riders to get to more places faster. However, it may eliminate on seat rides to certain destinations. For instance, in e- Southern Queens, a resident expressed frustration to CBS2 New York, saying that a reroute of the Q10 would force people to make more transfers. This is despite the redesigned route being straighter and providing residents with better access to multiple subway stations and the Lefferts Boulevard commercial corridor. You can expect to hear a lot from riders whose trips may require additional transfers as most routes have at least one change planned. In some cases, people may be upset over potentially having to pay an additional fare if their new trip will require more than one transfer. Ultimately, the MTA will need to balance these concerns with the benefits of straighter routes to ensure that more people can get to places they need to go conveniently. Extend the Q44 further into the Bronx. The MTA addressed 23 out of 25 of the most frequent comments on on its most recent draft plan and the final plan. However, one of the two proposals outright rejected was a request to extend the Q44 SBS to the Bronx High School of Science in the Bronx's Bedford Park neighborhood. According to data from the Bronx Science Alumni Foundation, 57% of the school's roughly 3,000 students reside in Queens. Unfortunately, the MTA rejected a request to extend the route there from West Farms, as they claimed the added distance would adversely affect bus reliability. In addition, the agency also backtracked from a smaller yet even more impactful extensions from both draft plans that would have sent the route to Fordham Plaza in the Bronx. From here, riders could have transferred to a plethora of Bronx bus routes and multiple Metro North lines. They would also have access to the third largest commercial corridor in the city in Fordham Road. The MTA electing not to extend the Q44 further due to reliability concerns does make sense. After all, the route's existing alignment from downtown Jamaica to West Farms and the Bronx makes the route one of the city's longest at roughly 13 miles. It also already goes through congested areas such as downtown Flushing and Jamaica and the Bronx Whitestone Bridge. Given how the route carries thousands daily, it's likely the MTA does not want to cascading delays to impact everyone to save time for the minority of riders. However, there are still likely to be some folks that want to see stronger Queens Bronx connections and want to have their voice heard on Wednesday. The other comment that went unaddressed was actually a compliment on the most recent draft plan. Riders like a proposed extension on the Q52 SBS from Elmhurst to Jackson Heights. However, the MTA now no longer plans to move forward with it due to service already being provided by the Q53 SBS. They also claim that the resources needed for an extension would be better allocated in other parts of the bus system. The NCAA likely feels this way because while the Q53 SBS frequently provides service where the Q52 SBS would have, while other routes do not have this level of existing service, riders might still advocate for the extension as those from parts of the Rockaways would have easier access to more of Western Queens. Additionally, they would be able to more seamlessly make transfers to the E and F express trains along with the plethora of bus routes and the the Q70 SBS LaGuardia link. Whether or not the MTA changes anything likely depends on how riders would value a Q53 SBS extension as opposed to other service additions being made. um, what's next? After the public hearing is complete, the MTA will take into account the feedback before presenting the final plan to the MTA board for a vote. As stated previously, the new routes would begin to take effect in phasing starting in mid 2025 pending board approval. Considering how many bus stops were restored in the Bronx, it is likely that the MTA will still be open to minor changes after the redesigned routes begin to run. Hopefully, the process ends with a bus network that will make travel faster and more convenient for the world's borough. All right. Let's see. Let's see what else we got to talk about here. Yes. Traffic violence in East Elmhurst CB11. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. CB11. Where is this? Hold on a minute. CB11. Where did I do with this? Yeah, you know what? Let's see. Um, let me see. One moment, folks. Um, Hold on a second. Okay, CB11. Okay, I don't know. Okay, CB11. I don't know what that is. All right, I'm gonna go with a different topic on this. So forgive me on this. So let's see. Okay, so let's go with this. All right, so the MTA announced on Sunday that transit crews have completed extensive, functional and aesthetic upgrades the at two of the busiest subway stations in Southeast Queens. The work at the Suffolk Boulevard, Archer Avenue, JFK that serves the E, J, and Z lines and the Jamaica Van Wyck stations on the E line was part of NYC Transit's renovated program, which utilizes planned service outages to perform station-wide repairs, enhancements, and deep cleaning to provide commuters with brighter and better station environments. New York City Transit is working hard to ensure customers' journeys are pleasant and comfortable from the moment they enter a station with brighter lights, fresh coats of paint, smoother platforms, and more. NYC Transit President Richard Davey said. Renovation projects are essential to delivering on our promise of bringing faster, cleaner, safer service to riders across the transit system. And now in Southeast Queens, they can see that effort for themselves. At the Suffolk Boulevard, Archer Avenue, JFK Airport Station, crews scraped, primed, and painted over 10,000 square feet of the station, and more than 150 lights were converted to LEDs, upgrading the entire station with cleaner and more energy efficient lights that brighten darkened areas. Additionally, the subway staircase globes were replaced, concrete tripping hazards were repaired along the platforms, stairways were inspected and repaired where needed, and outdated signage was removed. At Jamaica Van Wyck Station, workers carried out a specialized cleaning operation, which included scrubbing platforms clean of outdated social distancing signage, washing and removing graffiti from track and station walls, and eliminating calcium deposits and water stains from the platforms. As a commuter myself, I'm thrilled about the completion of the renovations at Sutton Boulevard, Archer Avenue, JFK Airport, and Jamaica Van Wyck stations. Member Natasha Williams said. These enhancements will not only elevate, excuse me, the aesthetic appeal, but also improve functionality, make my daily commute smoother and more enjoyable. Workers at Jamaica Van Wyck Station also made extensive repairs to floor tiles, alleviating tripping hazards, ceilings, station booths, and other sub other surfaces were scraped, primed, and painted. Outdated signage, including legacy bus and subway maps, were removed, and New American with Disabilities Act signage was updated. New LED lights were installed, and platform benches were sanded and restrained. Our city subway stations would be inviting and welcoming places that encourage New Yorkers to take mass transit. Queens Borough President Donovan Richard said, "The much needed renovation work recently completed at the Jamaica Van Wyck and Southern Boulevard Archer Avenue J- JFK Airport stations has been has made them more much more pleasant places for riders to visit." Community non board Community board non, excuse me, district manager James McClellan applauded the MTA for work done at one of the stations. Jamaica Van Wyck Station area was a quality of life concern for elected officials, Jamaica Hospital, and residents for several years, McClellan said. "We are extremely grateful to the MTA for extensive station renovation, which has um, ameliorated many of our issues." State Senator Joseph um, Ada Adabo said the upgrades at both stations will enhance the commuter experience. The completion of these functional and aesthetic improvements under the Renovation program exemplified the commitment to providing brighter, safer, and more efficient transit environments for the residents and visitors of New York City. Councilmember Lynn Shulman called the announcement fantastic news. "These stations are vital to so many people and they deserve a pleasant experience," Shulman said. With deep cleaning and improvements to lighting and signage, the renovation work exemplifies the importance of providing New Yorkers with a safer and more welcoming environment for all travelers. All right, so let's see. Let's see what else to talk about. I'm sorry. Let me just look for it. Um, Wait a second. Um, Traffic violence. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that though, man. This is crazy. Um, yeah, we'll talk about that right there, man. In the segment right here of chatting all the jazz right here. Let's start this off. Hold up. All right. Here we go. Here's what's happening. Following a tragic week on Queen streets where three pedestrians, 43-year-old Natalia Garcia Valencia, 58-year-old Alicia Belair, and 8-year-old Byron, excuse me, yeah, Byron, excuse me, um, Palomino Arroyo were fatally struck by unsafe drivers. Queens Borough President Donovan Richards announced that he has allocated $1.5 million in capital funding for street safety improvements on three of the borough's most dangerous roadways. Um, Richards made the announcement at 82nd Street and Astoria Boulevard in East Elmhurst on Monday morning, about a mile from where the 8-year-old boy was struck and killed by an impatient pickup driver from Flushing on March 13th as he walked in the crosswalk at 31st Avenue and 101st Street with him, mother, and brother who were injured. Damn, son. Damn. Okay. Richards said there have already been 41 crashes with 30 injuries so far this year on Astoria Boulevard alone. So he has earmarked $500,000 for safety upgrades such as curve extensions, new crosswalks, bus bulbs, new sidewalks, median tip extensions, and left turn bays on Astoria Boulevard, along with $500,000 each to similar upgrades on Utopia Parkway and Beach Channel Drive. Um, so the combination of poorly designed streets and unsafe drivers threaten our families, so we must take action on both. That's what we're doing in Queens, starting with $1.5 million in funding I have allocated to make a trio of high traffic traffic, excuse me, um, boroughs, streets safer for all, Richard said. Um, let's see. We also need the state legislature to pass Sammy's law immediately. New York City, not Albany, should control speed limits on New York City streets. In the name of all those lost to traffic violence, we cannot wait any longer to act. And lower streets, safer streets and lower speeds save lives. On Friday afternoon, Richards joined lawmakers from across the borough, parents, children, and community groups at PS 110 Q in East Elmhurst for an emergency children's march for safe streets. We as adults and elected officials have a responsibility to keep our kids safe, State Senator Jessica Ramos said. Our march made clear demands with one voice. We want Sammy's Law. We want scrambled crosswalks. And we want at least one crossing guard at every school across the city. Ramos noted that traffic violence has killed more than 100 children since Vision Zero was implemented a decade ago, and more than half of the children killed in the last 2 years were from Queens. Raul Ampuro became a member of Families for Safe Streets after his 9-year-old son Giovanni was fatally struck in 2018 by an elderly driver on Northern Boulevard in Jackson Heights. End quote. The pain that traffic violence brings is something that no family should have to experience, Imperial said, while holding up a photo of Byron. By implementing the requirements of the NYC Streets Plan, we can prevent crashes and bring New York City closer to achieving Vision Zero. He called on the Adams administration to fast track projects across the five boroughs, all five boroughs. With bold action, we can stop traffic violence and build safe streets in all neighborhoods, Imperial said. Flushing has borne the brunt of pedestrian fatalities over the last decade, surpassing any other area in New York City. We have reached crisis level of preventable traffic crashes, and we need to act now, Assembly Member Ron Kim said. Our children are seemingly in harm's way anytime they approach a crosswalk. Kim attended the funeral of 3-year-old Quintus Chen, who was struck and killed by a hit and run driver on November 29th on College Point Boulevard. We cannot inflict any more pain and suffering on the families who are left picking up the pieces after their loved ones is gone, Kim said. Communities across Queens have lost neighbors in East Elmhurst, Macbeth, Sunnyside, and Bayside in just the past week. State Senator John Liu, a member of the Transportation Committee, said the legislature needs to pass Sammy's Law, which would allow New York City to lower the speed limit. As New Yorkers, we deserve the power to control our own speed limits because it's a proven way of curbing reckless driving, Lou said. For now, we grieve with the family of Byron Palomino Arroyo, a young life full of promise and unfairly taken too soon. Let's pass the bill for Byron, Sammy, Allison, Hope, Lau, and the countless other innocent victims of traffic violence whose legacies live on in the advocacy of everyone here today, protecting the lives of New Yorkers for generations to come. In addition to passing Sammy's Law, advocates called for the Adams administration to restore funding for the nearly 500 crossing guards who were cut from the city budget. Each of these deaths is entirely preventable, and with the political will to change our streets, we can end traffic deaths. Transportation Alternatives Executive Director Danny Harris said, "Every single family in Queens and throughout the five boroughs deserve better, and we will fight alongside them until every street and every intersection and every sidewalk is safe." All right, next we have to talk about the recent flooding in New Orleans. All right, so Francine made landfall in Louisiana on Wednesday as a Category 2 hurricane, according to NPR. It caused surprise flooding in New Orleans as water levels were already high before the storm hit. Warner Summers host. Hurricane Francine brought power outages and flooding to Louisiana overnight, and the National Weather Service had to issue a sudden flash flood warning for New Orleans. Reporter Eva Tesfaye with member station double WNO joins us on the latest from the city. Um, and Summers says, so Eva, start by telling us just how bad the flooding. Yeah, and she says, yeah, well, I actually evacuated. I was worried about my cat and my car because the window is not closing. But I'm glad that I did because there was some flooding in New Orleans. My colleague, um, Aubrey Juhaz, rode out the storm in a neighborhood called Bayou Street, no, Bayou St. John. It doesn't have a reputation for flooding, but when Aubrey and her friend looked outside during the eye of the storm, she saw the water in the street was rising up close to her car. Damn. Yeah. So she moved her car to high ground. But according to the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans, most of that water drained off the streets overnight. The worst of the flooding seemed to have happened in nearby Jefferson Parish, especially in the suburban town of Kenner. The police chief of Kenner said last night that there was no part of the city that wasn't affected by flooding. He told the local TV station that it's the worst flooding he's seen since Katrina. Wow, okay, wow. I understand that the storm hit while the ground was already saturated from rain that had been coming down in the past week. Yeah, that's right. And Francine also dumped a lot of rain. It slowed down as it got towards the south shore of Pont Lake Pontchartrain. So that's where New Orleans, um, Matari, and Kenner are, and some rainfalls totals were as high as 12 inches in some of those areas. Also, Jefferson Parish President Cynthia Lee Shang said 3 out of the 4 drainage pumps stopped working in Kenner. This is what she said. We out were just outpaced with the sheer amount of volume of water that Hurricane Francine dumped on us. So the city of New Orleans also had some pump issues last night, but it seems like they were resolved more quickly. So that might be why Kenner experienced way more flooding than New Orleans. Damn, son, this is crazy. Damn, son. Yeah, that's pretty scary though. Let's see. That's pretty scary though. And Summers um said, um we've talked about the rainfall, the flooding, of course. I'm curious about power outages and just how widespread they were. Yeah, so at one point last night, at least 400,000 customers had power outages, and that's something people here prepare for whenever storms hit. You know, charging devices, flashlights, some people have generators, although you need to be careful with those. A lot of people remember that during Hurricane Ida in 2021, it took weeks to restore power in many places. So hopefully people were prepared. But for Francine, the hardest hit in terms of power outages were the coastal parts of southeast Louisiana. That's where the hurricane made landfall. So some examples of Dahlac and Cocodrie, those were small towns down on the coast, and they saw wind speeds of almost 100 miles per hour, and they still assessing the damages. So just generally speaking, did the infrastructure hold up, or have officials learned some lessons here? Maybe. Yeah, I talked to the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans to try to answer that question. Um, Gas Gasson Corbin is the executive director, and this was his assessment. He states, I really have to give a huge shout out to my staff who just all hands on deck all night long. But at the same time, we know for a fact that some things didn't go right, and we own up to it. And and I asked if they are making changes so that the system can handle more rain. Our system can't really handle a lot of rain, and they said that they are cleaning out pipes, removing sediment from the canals. A longer term goal is getting a new power station up and running and having more green infrastructure in the city, like ponds and permeable surfaces that can absorb more water. For now, the state of emergency is still in effect in Louisiana. Man, yeah, I hope everybody in Louisiana is all right, and I hope there's no fatalities there as well. So to be determined on that one. Let's see. Let's see what else to talk about here. Okay, let's talk about National Potato Chip Day. And that's the episode. Potato chips, our favorite snacks of all time, has a holiday. Let's get into it right here. National Potato Chip Day. Here we go. All right, so America's number one snack food, potato chips, is recognized on March 14th annually. Potato chips are thin slices of potatoes, either deep fried or baked until crunchy. Potato chips are a predominant part of the snack food market in English speaking countries, especially in America. On National Potato Chip Day, this snack will be enjoyed by millions of people across the country. So why not make sure you participate in the potato chip snacking fun? Starting with the timeline, 1853, the potato chip is born. American chef George Speck, aka George Crumb, no George Crumb, excuse me. Oh shit! Creates potato chips in Saratoga Springs. Oh man. Okay. Um, 1859. All right, let's try to get rid of this video. 1859, a novel idea. The first popular reference to the snack is written in A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. 1921, potato chips go big. Mass production of potato chips begin. 1932. The holy grail of potato chips, company Frito-Lay introduces Lay's potato chips. And National Potato Chip Day activities. Make a potato chip dip and spread the fun. Go to your local grocery store to buy the ingredients and handle business. Invite guests and spread the fun. You can buy a bag of potato chips for your eating pleasure, for the office, or for loved ones. Make sure people recognize National Potato Chip Day with a tasty serving. Make potato chips. You can do it. It's so simple. Slice a potato down, bake or fry, then enjoy every single bite. Why we love National Potato Chip Day, you ask? We love fat. California researchers have discovered that receptors in our mouths upon coming into contact with fat like that from potato chips triggers a powerful addiction type mechanism in our guts. Just eating one potato chip is so hard. Simply eating one chip makes you want to continue eating more and more chips until the whole bag or plate is empty. It's a great meal for on the go. While some people love sitting down and taking their time to enjoy a snack, some just simply have a fast paced lifestyle. For those people, um, always on the go, potato chips are always a great idea. A can of Pringles or a bag of classic Lays are plenty good for a road trip or a quick trip to work. It's simple. Potato chip bag, check. Person hungry for potato chips, check. Crunch, check. Go for it. Enjoy the simple things in life. Some of our favorite potato chip brands are Pop Chips, Kettle Brand, Pringles, Ruffles, and Lays. Try all of them at your next party. All right, so next year, 2025, Friday, March 14th, 2026, Saturday, March 14th, 2027, Sunday, March 14th, 2028, Tuesday, March 14th, and 2029, Wednesday, March 14th. So there you have it right there. Um, there you have it right there. Let's see. So Tesla has some recalls lately. Let's get into that right there. And this is from the Guardian website. All right. So Tesla said on Tuesday it was recalling most Cybertrucks in the United States over issues with their windshield wipers and exterior trim. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says Tesla has now issued 4 recalls for its 2024 Cybertruck. Tesla said it is recalling 11,688 Cybertrucks from the 2024 model year because the front windshield wiper motor controller failed due to excessive electrical current. Non-functioning wipers could increase the risk of a crash in wet weather. The wiper recalls covers all trucks built which took place through the 6th of June, which already happened. Wow. Gotta be careful with those, man. Those are not easy to drive, actually. Those are not easy to drive, though. They're not easy.
Go!
All right. Let's see. Where were we? Um, the company said it will replace the wiper motor after it identified early wiper motor failures. In February, Tesla discovered 20 wiper motors to inspect as it investigated. Separately, Tesla is also recalling 11,383 Cybertrucks because the trunk bed trim sail a pleat could have been improperly attached, creating the potential to become loose and create a road hazard. The recalls are the latest setback for the futuristic truck, whose mass production is expected to start next year. Elon Musk's firm has yet to disclose how many it has handed over to consumers in its quarterly deliveries and production report. Tesla began investigating in December after issues were seen in an undelivered Cybertruck. In May, the company found a second occurrence in a customer vehicle and then discovered additional instances of loose or detached appliques due to improper installation of an applique or adhesive. The company's service team will apply an adhesion promoter and pressure sensitive tape or replace the missing trim free of charge for affected vehicles. Tesla recalled nearly 4,000 Cybertrucks in April to fix the accelerator pedal pad that could come loose and get lodged into the interior trim. Tesla began delivering the Blade Runner inspired truck in November 2023 after years of delay and a difficult production ramp up that Musk described as Tesla digging its own grave. I hope you appreciate this. Yeah, I'm not even gonna really get into all this shit though, man. But anyway, man, yeah, I really hope they fix these Cybertrucks, man. They really need to get this fixed though, man. That's very, very crazy that they let this happen. So that's crazy to me, man. Let's see, what else can we talk about here? What else can we talk about? All right, so we have okay. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know about that. Let me see. All right, so let's talk about 50 Cent a bit. All right. According to Double XL Mag, 50 Cent opens sprawling film studio. On Thursday, 50 announced the launch of his new G Unit film studio in Shreveport, Louisiana. Excited to announce the expansion of G Unit film and television through the launch of my G Unit Studios right here in Shreveport. 50 Cent shared on X, formerly known as Twitter. A ceremony was held at Government Plaza in Shreveport, where 50 symbolically signed lease to open the studio, in which Curtis was given the key to the city. Um, 50 joked, hold on. Fans joke 50 Cent is the new Tyler Perry. I don't know if you should compare him to the new Tyler Perry, but Tyler Perry is a whole different breed and avenue here. So fans joke, yeah, so 50 Cent's power moves have fans jokingly comparing the BMF exclusive executive producer to the billionaire filmmaker Tyler Perry. Dude low key becoming the male Tyler Perry. It's crazy to see, one person shared on X. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. The male Tyler Perry, another tweet on the topic trends. Oh wow. People calling 50 Cent the male Tyler Perry is killing me. Someone else posted. Um, why are people calling 50 the new Tyler Perry? Tyler Perry is goals for any black filmmakers. The stage play creator turned billionaire film magnate also owns a massive film studio in Atlanta, Tyler Perry Studios, which he opened in 2019. The lot is the biggest film studio in the United States and the first one owned by an African American. As far as the male Tyler Perry jokes go, Perry dressed up as a woman for his flagship character Medea. Oh man, that's ridiculously funny. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that's funny right there. Oh boy. Oh Lord, that is so funny. That is so funny right there. That is so funny right there. Boy, sheesh. Yeah, that's funny right there. I'm not gonna hold you, but let's see where is this? Yeah, um, that was funny right there. That was so funny right there. Let's see what else. What else we got to talk about here? Hang on a second here. Let me see. I don't have the Eminem topic, but let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can look this up. Eminem's update on his sobriety journey. Okay, sobriety journey. Okay, hold on. All right, Eminem's sobriety, according to people. This took place on Saturday, April 20th. The Lose Yourself rapper, age 51, marked 16 years sober, sharing the milestone on Instagram with fans. The Grammy winner, who was born Marshall Matters, posted a photo of his hand holding a new chip commemorating the achievement. Um, the comment section of the captionless post was filled with messages of support and congratulations for the rapper. We're all proud of you for being 16 years sober. Read a note from the fan account. Stan is the one. Great decision you made, brother. We're all proud of you, fellow rapper DTG, which is Dylan Gottfried wrote. Um, Eminem previously shared that a near fatal drug overdose in 2007 was a wake up call that inspired him to get sober after taking up to 20 pills a day. End quote. I remember when I first got sober and all the shit was out of my system. I remember just being like really happy and everything was fucking new to me again. He said on Paul Rosenberg's podcast in 2022. On top of crediting his kids' biological daughter, Haley Jade, and his two adopted children, Elena and Stevie, with keeping him sober, Eminem also replaced addiction with exercise. When I got out of rehab, I needed to lose weight, but I also needed to figure out a way to function sober, the rapper told Men's Journal in 2015. Unless I was blitzed out of my mind, I had trouble sleeping. So I started running. It gave me a natural endorphin high, but it also helped me sleep. So it was perfect. Eminem added, it's easy to understand how people replace addiction with exercise. One addiction for another, but one that's good for them. One that's good for them. If you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse, please contact the SAMHSA helpline at 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-HELP. So let's make some noise for Eminem for being sober and being able to stay alive and especially exercising and taking care of his well-being and his mental health. So let's make some noise for Eminem and his sobriety journey. All right. Um, I do have an extra topic that I wanted to talk about too. And let's see, before we even get to the other thing. Um, yes, so and this is in regards to Lloyd Banks. All right. Um, all right. So, according to Hip Hop DX, Lloyd Banks has continued to tease the long-awaited third installment of his acclaimed All or Nothing mixtape series. On Instagram, Banks posted a brief video teaser of a New York skyline before the initials AON appear on the screen, along with the subtitle Volume 3, Despite My Mistakes. No release date for the mixtape accompanied the clip. but the video ended with the promising tease of coming soon. The former G Unit rapper last released an All or Nothing mixtape in September 2016. With the release of Despite My Mistakes, it would mark the second resurrected mixtape series for Banks in as many years. Last year, he returned with his fourth Halloween Havoc tape, which featured contributions from Vado and Cy Ari the Kid. The Queens, New York native has been on a prolific streak over the last 3 years since he acrimoniously departed his longtime home of 50 Cent's G Unit Records, dropping 3 albums and 1 mixtape. On the back of his widely acclaimed hot streak, Banks has also claimed to be the best rapper alive. He said in quote, there was a point in time that um that Lloyd Banks was the greatest rapper walking the earth, a fan tweeted last year, to which the self-proclaimed punchline king um appreciate that. Who's the greatest now? Hmm. No, a fan wrote that, not him. Anyway, when the same user replied that Banks was special during G Unit's acclaimed mixtape run and that nobody was out rapping him, the 41-year-old promptly countered with, "Ain't nobody out rapping me now." It was a notion Benny the Butcher agreed with, as he said, in quote, that nigga Banks is one of the top niggas ever with bars. That's one rap nigga. Niggas don't play with him. It's certain rap niggas don't play with. He got million lines where you'll be like, how the fuck I didn't think of that. That's crazy, man. Oh man. All right. So let's get to Anderson Paak. Let's get to Anderson Paak. Hold on a second. All right, so all you Anderson Paak fans, I want to actually get into this. And this is from Song Kick. All right. All right. So um all right. So starting with tomorrow's he'll be performing in Phoenix, Arizona at the Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, September 28th, Las Vegas, Fountain Fontaine Blue, Las Vegas, October the 2nd, Morrison, Colorado, Red Rocks Amphitheater, Chicago, October 4th, Huntington Bank Pavilion at Northerly Island, October 5th, Sterling Heights, Missouri, at no, Michigan, excuse me, Michigan Lottery Amphitheater, October 8th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, TD Pavilion at the Man, October 9th, Columbia, Maryland, Meriwether Post Pavilion, Wantagh, New York, Northwell Health at Jones Beach Theater, October 13th, Atlanta, Georgia, um, Solaris Amphitheater at Lakewood. And of course, November 23rd, Mexico City, Mexico Semi Fest. Um, hang on a second. And hold on. October 8th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, TD Pavilion at the Man, Wantagh, New York, Northwell Health at Jones Beach Theater. So there you go, right there. You can get your tickets. Don't wait too long. So you know what I'm saying? Don't wait too long. So, um, hang on a second. Anything else? Anything else? Yeah, whatever topic I don't get to, I'll talk about it next time. All right. So, all right. We can wrap up here right now, man. Hang on one second. All right, we're about to wrap up right here, right now. Um, Apparently, I don't have any more stuff to talk about, so we're gonna wrap up right here with this segment right here. Stream choices on the go. Yes, make sure you follow off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast on Facebook alongside with Threads and alongside with my other podcast shows that I do, as well as myself. It's also on Threads and Instagram, which is Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, of course, the sports platform that I do. Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, my entertainment review show, and of course myself, G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. So be sure to um actually check it out. If you go to my Linktree link, which is Linktree/G Money Stacks 555, you're gonna see a whole list of audio streaming platforms that you can listen to new episodes on every streaming platform. You can even download it to your iPhones, your Android phones, iPads, Android tablets, laptops includes Apple and Dell laptops. All right. Any other laptop you use will be accepted. So starting with Odyssey, Audible, Audio Burst, Amazon Music, Breaker, Bullhorn FM, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Overhaul FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podbay, Podfriend, Podhound, Podopolo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podvine, Snips, Spotify for Podcasters, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Fountain, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, the number one app where you listen to music, radio, and podcast episodes for free. You don't need a credit card or debit card to download iHeartRadio or any other streaming platforms that I just mentioned to you folks right here. All you need to do is subscribe on iHeartRadio and every streaming platform, and also be sure to do the same with YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel G Money Stacks 555 for more live video podcast episodes, and when I'll be on the air via live stream. Enable alerts so you can get notified on when I'll be on the air via live stream, and of course new episodes that will be dropping. You can be sure to listen, stream, share with everybody that you know. Be sure to stream, watch, add the podcast to your playlist, and of course be sure to enable alerts so new episodes will be dropping, which is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I apologize for not dropping any episodes yesterday. I was recording 350 late. So as a makeup, I will be dropping 350, 351, and 352 tomorrow. Which is Friday. After I come back from work, and depending on how much energy I have left, I will be able to drop them. So I'm not gonna let anything stop me. So anyway, so of course, be sure to tell a friend to another friend. Spread the word. Word of mouth is important, and of course, share my Linktree link with links to streaming platforms with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, people you are cool with, whatsoever, um, and wherever you meet new people, whether it's work or anywhere else, like an event, wherever it is, it counts. That's gonna do it for me, man. I'm your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Thank you very much for listening to the 351st episode. You could have listened to any podcast in the whole world, but you chose to listen to this New York Avenue podcast platform. Um, Remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to work hard and earn it. It's not going to be given to you on a fucking silver platter. And of course, be sure to find your niche, follow your heart, your goals and dreams, and do what makes you smile and what makes you happy, creatively, mentally, physically, and spiritually. That gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. And also remember, there's no manual of having a path of your own and your journey. All right. So um and of course, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. All right, I'm out of here. Peace and one love. I appreciate every single one of you as we are approaching the 4th anniversary of this podcast. I couldn't have done this without you listeners out at home and everyone else in between. And yeah, this is very therapeutic for me because as I'm going through some stuff with the Leo situation, as I mentioned earlier, this is really cheering me up right now. So it's a day by day process. So like I said earlier, please forgive me for feeling what I was feeling. I'm a human being at the end of the day. So, you know, there you go right there. And as I stated in yesterday's episode, the Mets and Braves game has been postponed to Monday. They will be doing like a double header at 1:15 p.m. So mark your calendars, whatever it may be. Um, because from they have to go to Milwaukee to play the Brewers. So hopefully, depending on what time the Brewers game will start, I will try my best to actually reach home as fast as I can to actually watch that game. And then I'll do some recaps on my sports podcast platform, which is Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks Podcast. Make sure you subscribe over there, as well as my other platform, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast. All right. So I'm out of here. Peace and one love. Enjoy the rest of your week, day, wherever you're listening to, all over the world. It's truly appreciated, and enjoy the rest of your night and weekend. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.